I want to tell you a story because I want you to do great in your career. I want big things for you. Not only do I want you to achieve all your goals, but I want you to be able to contribute at the portfolio, at the property that you're working at. And I want you to be part of that team, and I want things to go great for you. Not only in your career, but with your relationships with your colleagues. And I know that that's not always the case. So I want to give you a story, and it's not my story. I want to tell you about Daniel's story. Daniel's story breaks my heart. So there was another video, and Daniel contributed to that video. Daniel's a regular contributor to the Legion of Leasers here at this channel. And listen, by the way, if you work in property management, please subscribe to this channel. But more importantly, the subscription doesn't really mean anything. Hit the notifications so that when there's hot topics, you know about them. You can pop in and you can watch videos just like this, and it will really, really help you in your career. But Daniel wrote in another video, and it was tips about how to be a better leasing agent. And Daniel's advice, and great advice by the way, make sure you can get along with your future colleagues. Okay, here's what breaks my heart. Daniel goes on to say, after 6 months and $600,000 in leases, $600,000 in leases. Wouldn't you love that as an owner, as an operator, as an investor, to have somebody like Daniel working for you, able to produce $600,000 in revenue in 6 months? Thanks to this gentleman's advice, yours truly. Thank you, Daniel. I appreciate you saying that. My notice was submitted and I walked out. This breaks my heart. It breaks my heart for Daniel, but Daniel's gonna be okay because Daniel is using the right training and the right tool sets, and Daniel's got the right mindset and the right attitude. Don't worry about Daniel. He's gonna land on his feet. He's gonna be great. It really breaks my heart as an owner myself and as an investor that somebody just lost a rock star like Daniel. But let's talk about when this situation happens to you and how we can potentially avoid it getting so bad that you end up having to walk out. But this is a very real possibility. As a brand new leasing agent, as a brand new leasing consultant, as a brand new property manager, sometimes it's difficult to get along with your colleagues. And I'm going to tell you why that happens for rock stars, and I'm going to give you some advice that may help you prevent the situation that Daniel was in. So here's the deal. Daniel came in brand new, starts leasing apartments. Not only does he start leasing apartments, he's literally like lapping everybody in the property in his portfolio. He's doing more business than anybody else, which you would think is a great thing. But what ends up happening is Daniel's colleagues see this. And I'm not going to say anything about Daniel's colleagues because I don't know his situation. But typically what happens is the other people at the property see Daniel, who's on Leasing University, who's using the Leasing University training. And the first thing that comes to their mind is, he's brand new, beginner's luck. Beginner's luck. That's the first thing they're going to chalk it up to. You're just plain lucky, right? So that buys you maybe 3-4 weeks, maybe a month. And then they start thinking, this person's leasing way more than we are, and they're continuing to do better. They must just be some sort of overachiever. When really, it's you've got the best practices in place. You know how to answer the phone. You know how to determine your prospects' wants and needs. You know how to select an apartment and build value in that apartment. You know how to overcome any objection that comes your way. You know how to make a proposal and you know how to close. Why? Because you're using Leasing University, you're using a system, and you've got a positive attitude. You're not an overachiever. You're not working for 27 hours in a day. You're not taking performance enhancing drugs in order to run faster and be quicker. You're just simply doing the right things. But they chalk it up to you being an overachiever. At this point, the eyes start to roll, right? And you start to get a little bit of criticism. They start to say things like, hey, you take a break? Do you want to take a break? Can you slow down? Why do you have to try so hard? What's going on here? And they try and talk you down. Now, the third level, and when it really gets difficult, is when they go from beginner's luck to overachiever to rather quickly, usually around the 90-day mark, maybe before, maybe about 60 days, this person that's out leasing us is making us look bad. And unfortunately, this should be on the regional manager, this should be on the owner, they should see this coming and they should head it off. But unfortunately, that's not always the case. Life isn't fair and it always doesn't work like that. And when they start to think that you are making the rest of the team look bad because you're outperforming them, well, then they're going to do things to sabotage both your work and your attitude. And that's where it gets really, really negative. And my feeling is that's probably what ended up happening to Daniel. And Daniel finally said, hey, enough is enough. I'm going to go work for another team. How can you prevent this from happening to you? First and foremost, I need you to have a thick skin and realize, you know what? A lot of times people are going to be jealous when I'm outperforming. But if you're the only one on your team that's using Leasing University, that's got the right attitude, that has the right skill sets, the best thing that you can do is make one additional sale. And what am I talking about here? I'm not talking about leasing just one more apartment. I'm talking about selling your team on the idea of getting on the same page, on the same training that you're using. Say, hey, let's get everybody on Leasing University. It's only like $500. It's $499. We can get all 5 of us here in the leasing department on the same system. You're going to find that when you're all speaking the same language, now all of a sudden they're going to start having success. And you may say to yourself, well, I don't care about their success. I only care about my success. If you have the rest of your team on the same playbook as you, using the same system as you, not only is your day going to go easier because they're not going to be like overachiever, making us look bad, beginner's luck. They're going to be like, hey, great, they're using the system. I'm using the system too. They're going to take the pressure off you, but also they're going to start to notice blind spots in your process and say, hey, you know, I noticed when you were working with that prospect, as she was leaving, she said, you know, I can't sign the lease until my dad looks at the apartment. And I remember I just covered that in Leasing University. Why didn't you say this, this, and this? And you're going to go, I never thought of that. The best thing that you can do, and I know you want to be the superstar, but the best thing that you can do is get everybody on your team on the same playbook. That tide is going to lift all ships, and you still have a great chance at being the number one person. But you don't want to be the number one person in your portfolio simply because everybody else does not have the skills and the same training. I hope this helps. I would love to read more comments for you. Daniel, I love you. If you're out there and you read this, we love you, Daniel. You stay strong. You keep it up. And if anybody has any questions on Leasing University, you can check us out over at leasinguniversity.com, or you can call our office at 888-735-7451. In case we haven't met before, my name is Matt Easton. I'm the founder of Leasing University. I hope you've subscribed to this channel. I hope you leave your comments. I will do my best to answer each and every one of them. And until the next video, be great. Get your team on board so they're not throwing negative shade your way. And get those leases.